In most parts of the world, many human rights defenders have been subject to violations of their human rights. They have been the target of executions, torture, beatings, arbitrary arrest and detention, death threats, harassment, and defamation, as well as restrictions on their freedoms of movement, expression, association, and assembly. Human rights defenders, HRDs, are individuals or groups of individuals or organizations who work to promote and protect human rights in a peaceful manner. They play an essential role in promoting and protecting human rights and fundamental freedoms that citizens are entitled to and could be a community worker, teacher, lawyer, journalist, a police officer, or activist working for human rights change. In Uganda, HRDs face recurrent challenges similar to those in other parts of the world. These include restrictions on fundamental freedoms and human rights, financial constraints, a population that lacks human rights awareness, and limited cooperation amongst HRDs perpetrated by both state and non-state actors. There are several instruments, guidelines, and resolutions at international and regional levels that provide for the recognition and protection of HRDs. For example, the UN Declaration on Human Rights Defenders, the EU Guidelines on Human Rights Defenders, the African Union Guidelines on Freedom of Association and Assembly, the Office of the Special Rapporteur on the Situation of Human Rights Defenders, the Model Law for Domesticating the Declaration on HRDs, among others. In 2014, DPI conducted a study on the legislative climate for human rights defenders in Uganda, which highlighted the existence of restrictive legislation towards the work of HRDs and the absence of specific legislation that recognizes and provides for the protection of HRDs. The study emphasized the importance of having a specific law that provides for the recognition and protection of HRDs in Uganda. It would also help define and promote understanding of the work of human rights defenders, provide for their protection, and enhance their partnership and collaboration with the state, and promote compliance with international human rights standards and best practices for human rights promotion and protection. In this regard, Uganda would be following in the footsteps of Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Honduras, Brazil, among others, who have adopted domestic instruments relating to human rights defenders. Defenders Protection Initiative, in collaboration with the Human Rights Center Uganda, Defend Defenders, the National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders, Chapter 4, have since embarked on various initiatives geared towards the development of a bill specifically focusing on the protection of HRDs in Uganda. For example, upon the development of the initial draft of the Human Rights Defenders Promotion and Protection Bill under the auspices of Defenders Protection Initiative, a convention of 20 lawyers to review comments that accrued from the launch in comparison with provisions of the Model Law on the Protection of HRDs, subsequently leading to the second draft of the bill. Additionally, the Human Rights Center Uganda embarked on a process to popularize the draft bill across the country, geared towards generating opinions of human rights defenders and promoting local ownership of the process. A multi-stakeholder meeting with the Legislative Council to facilitate the exchange of views and generate support for the process. This process was followed by several roundtable dialogues with the Justice, Law and Order sector, Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Uganda Law Reform Commission, the Parliamentary Human Rights Committee, among others. The objective of these dialogues was to popularize the need for a law that recognizes and protects HRDs in Uganda and gaining insights from relevant stakeholders. Today, the collaborators continue to organize national, regional, and thematic consultative meetings and commit to further engage with all relevant partners to achieve the desired enactment of a specific law that provides for the recognition and protection of HRDs in Uganda. The proposed law on the promotion and protection of human rights in Uganda is justified because it is crucial to enhance the legal framework and working environment to protect HRDs and their work. It would enhance partnership and collaboration between the government and HRDs by not only defining them and their role, but also prescribing their working relationship with the government on human rights issues. And it would promote compliance with the international human rights standards and best practices. We call upon the government of Uganda, specifically the executive, parliament, and judiciary, to support human rights defenders in this cause. This message is brought to you by Defenders Protection Initiative.